It's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting of the planning board to order. So first order of business is we have minutes from the May 2026 planning board meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review? And if so, do we have any inputs or additions, deletions from them? Would anybody like to make a motion to approve?
I move we approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Same.
Fair enough. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That's right. Okay, thank you. So next piece, I'll move to the chair report. This is where we talk about anything that happened in between meetings. I did not have any administrative actions. I didn't sign any plats. I didn't take any action in between meetings. One thing that we did do though was I have drafted a very high level rules of procedure, and that's gone to Mr. Young as our attorney. I was looking in the code, and we're supposed to have one. So it is all stuff we're already doing. It's Section 260-96B of the town code directs us to establish rules for a business. Once Don's review is complete, we will circulate it for inputs within the planning board, and we will take a look and see if anybody has anything to add or not. We may eventually get to a point where we either vote to adopt or not. I just wanted to have something on paper that has how we operate. And again, it's nothing that we're already doing most of this. It's just on paper. That was the intent. Also, the intent was to follow the town code in this way. So stay tuned for updates as we move forward with that one. Okay, so our next order of business would be our application of Mr. Doug Osofsky. Is Mr. Osofsky here? Hi, sir. Would you like to come up? Sure. Thank you. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, great. Thank you. So he's the owner of Mendon Acres. It's 4287 Clover Street. He's asking for a special use permit to construct a 52 by 40 foot barn. It's there's a second one. And then back in the day, about 10 years ago now, he applied for a permanent farm market up in April 2016. There was another amendment in December 2017. I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong with any of this, where you expanded greenhouses and storage to about 6,000 square feet. And then in August 2018, you were partially approved for cider and donuts, strangely not ice cream. The barn was contemplated in the original 2016 10-year plan. It looks like you've been following that plan pretty much how you said.
Right.
One thing that we need to keep in mind, properties in agricultural district in New York State agriculture and markets law requires that we do not unreasonably restrict or regulate farms operations absent a demonstrated public health or safety threat, and that framing is going to govern our analysis tonight. So I will open the public hearing. Mr. Osofsky, would you like to say any words or present what you'd like to do?
Has everybody seen the map? It's probably the easiest way to describe it. The original proposal is actually right now where a high tunnel is. So we're gonna move that barn a little bit closer to the road, ideally. That allows us to get municipal water down there. Also bring natural gas
I'm sorry, you're moving it closer to the road than what's shown?
by probably about 50 to 60 feet. It was probably about 460 feet away from the road, so we're now about 400. And it just matches up a little bit better with the drive.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. Besides, we're still working with an architect on it, but trying to get the pricing right. It's probably gonna fall. My guess is probably about 32 by 56.
Okay.
So it's probably a little bit smaller than what you just listed.
Yeah, that sounds like, okay. We're just looking at that from the square footage perspective because there are some limits on that. So I don't think that goes over. Okay. And then so we were saying this map is incorrect right now. It's gonna shift by about 50 feet, but still well outside buffer zones and everything else.
Yeah, we're trying to utilize the existing driveway and make the flow work with what we have today.
Okay.
to help us.
This one right here that I'm looking at also says the building rotated. So it will be about here then, the proposed?
Right about there.
You
So where that P is, a little bit to your, right.
Clearing the existing parking area, you won't be
Yes,
infringing on that?
No, our drive comes right down and you'll be able to access it. 10 feet. So you can use everything that exists today.
All right, do you know, so this photo says, I think 405 feet. Is that the correct, setback from the road that you'll be having, do you know?
Pretty darn close.
Okay, so I think that's important that we know that number. So we have it on record.
All right. Once we get it kind of pinned out,
Yep,
do you want to go from the center line or right away?
the face of the building,
From the road though, because every
from
road,
the property line, from your property line to the face of the building.
Alright. Gotcha.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, I have some questions. I don't know if anybody else would like to go first, but if you do, please. Okay. There's gonna be some retail. Is that fair to say?
Ideally, we'd move retail into this because the existing barn, when we built it, we were scrambling just to get something there. There was nothing in this whole area.
Okay.
So we sort of needed retail. That was there, we used it. The lighting inside it is not good, to say the least, and I need storage.
Okay.
So this one will actually, the front will face south, capture all that light. Be a little additional windows. Less of a porch area. And the existing structure will become our storage.
So it looks like it's under the cap that the Men Code has, the CEO, the code enforcement officers confirm that. And since you're splitting it, I'm sorry, you're not splitting it, you're moving it completely from one to the other. Okay, that solves that question that I think we had also. Are you gonna be having people living in there, or if so, is this something for the future, or is it something you want to do right
For the future,
Okay.
trying to think creatively since we're seasonal, to bring people into work. They want a permanent job. Can't quite keep them throughout the whole year.
Mhm.
So this might be an offset way to mitigate that.
Okay.
Or if they want to do part-time someplace else, but we can,
You're gonna have to take into account certain considerations. Even if it's in the future, when you build this barn. Knowing that down the road, you're going to perhaps have accommodations in there. Are you still planning on bringing in water and gas? What is
that's
the-
actually a big driver for this.
What's the nature of the construction? Is this a pole building?
It's actually gonna be on a foundation, so we're gonna have this insulated up, it's gonna be stick built, 2x6,
So there'll be a basement?
no basement, it's a slab.
Okay, just a
But
slab
insulated
on your
slab.
wall, so it'll be stick framed?
Can you show I'm assuming the portion that's, like a dwelling area, that'll have a separate entrance completely from the,
Yeah, we're still
Public.
working on with the architect on that, but yeah, ideally it's completely separated from. There might be a door inside, but
it's good,
we
all
can
right.
close it all off.
And you'll probably have to submit that permit drawings and all that to Cory, obviously,
Yep.
because he has other requirements that don't affect us. The entrances sort of do affect us a little bit because it's the site that we're dealing with. So that would be good to know, I guess, too, where the entrances would be eventually.
Private wastewater system?
We're gonna tap into the existing, septic system that we have right now. So that actually is sized for a 2-bedroom. So
Are you going to have any new lighting for this building? Probably, right?
interior,
Exterior.
exterior, on the front porch.
So obviously you would stay within the it wouldn't be like huge floodlights. It would be similar to probably what you have now.
Yeah.
And then as far as the aesthetic of the new building, would it be similar to what's there now, do you think?
Yeah, we're looking at, got a quote on, board bat, which is on the existing one, metal roof, trying to think what else, so. Depending on, we might actually have a step up into the, onto the porch area, we just gotta figure out the grading a little bit on that.
So that's great that you're expanding, by the way, and it's, this is, you're exactly what we want in this area, in my opinion. We have to, you know, bolster your efforts here, so that's great. I just wanted to mention really quick, I know you're in that EPOD 5 district. To me, if you were to follow, you know, the current, what our current code says about the buffer, looks like you'll be into your planting fields, you know what I mean? It would be a hardship for you to have to follow this, I think, because you're, you know, this is the 500-foot buffer and you're, you know what I mean, you'd be way into these fields already.
Can I ask a question on that? So is that buffer, where does that,
It's from the property line now. So it used to be from the building itself. But now it's from the property line, which spills over into functioning fields for you. So I think if we were to follow this, it's actually gonna create a hardship for you. And also the portion,
yeah, wonder if that was a 10,000 acre property. And now I'm building something, I'm a mile away,
yeah,
but
I
I'm
think
so
you're-
fun.
think you're a comfortable distance away from that historic
Yeah.
property, and there's, you know, plenty of vegetation between you and that property. That's just my opinion on that. But I don't think what you're doing is going to adversely impact that property.
I don't think it's designated locally
It's
anyway.
it's nationally designated. You know, it's what he's doing is further away than the existing building,
Right.
you know, so I think you're doing the best you can. And also probably this proposed build structure, you want to have that communicate with your existing building to some degree, right? You're gonna be going back and forth probably, so you really wouldn't want that to be, you know,
Yeah.
hundreds of feet away from that.
And again, it taps into the parking lot, the driveway, so structurally. We don't really have to do any work there.
Anybody have anything else? On that note, what my colleague said about the Historical Preservation Commission, they did report favorably. And they recommended grandfathering the new barn under the code in effect prior to the August 2025 EPOD 5 amendment, on the basis that you've steadily implemented your 10-year plan. And the new barn, as my colleague just said, will be further away from the Livermore home than the store already. Don, did we have any outstanding issues that we thought we might raise tonight?
Yeah, I think there are a few more questions. I can throw them out there.
Yeah, please.
We're interested in exploring. So the natural gas and water that you're bringing, is that just going to the barn and stopping there?
Now we'll actually feed that into the few high tunnels, ideally.
Onto the what?
There's the 2 high tunnels that are now north of the barn. They do not have water or any heat. And so if I can put water in there, it lessens the burden on the well that we're on right now, which is starting to kind of get a little sulfury.
And that's gonna be public water, is it at the road or?
I believe CEO's report was that for the barn, it was conditions are sufficient for that.
We actually hook up to the fire hydrant at the road right now to do some irrigation. That's coming out 2-inch, so you're pumping out 100 gallons a minute plus.
Yeah, so one of the comments I had was like, if you're running utilities in there, should you show those on the site plan, and should our engineer make sure we're good there? Usually when you're running public utilities, you have easements and coordination with the utility district and all that stuff.
They have it all already. The whole, on everything.
So there's that, and then does your map show, you chunked out a piece last year or some time ago, right? You subdivided it out a piece.
Yeah, so there'll actually be two of them. There'll be an existing house and then the one we just sold. So this must be map from back in 16.
So does the map
Yeah.
reflect that?
No, neither one of those, so. Is this one from
Yeah, those are from your old files.
old file?
Yep.
And then. Yeah, I mean, those are some of the ones that I'm just highlighting from my. From my comments.
Are you gonna bring a 2-inch service in alongside of your driveway from Clover?
Going back and forth on the water a little bit on that, so what it'll probably end up being is a 1-inch tap going into a 2-inch line. But then depending on what the backflow is down in the barn, I'm not 100% sure what the cost of a 2-inch backflow is. That might be astronomically high. So we might go down to a 1-inch all the way. I gotta get some of the pricing on it. The water authority I think they wanted to see if there was any items to address coming out of here before they gave me a quote on all that.
They're only gonna do the tap and the water the water meter, all they're gonna do. You're gonna run the line yourself from that
Yeah.
meter.
Yeah. So right now we're thinking it's gonna be a 2-inch. We'll expand into that.
Mhm.
Probably lose some pressure on that,
Yeah.
but I think we'll be okay.
And they always do a 1-inch tap unless you pay extra.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll do a saddle on that. So
That's why I'm trying to get that pricing and they're a little
good
hesitant
luck.
about it. Thank you. Yeah, it'll be a little steep, I'm sure.
But I think your 1-inch into 2 will handle everything you need.
I think it will too. Plus it works when the power goes out, which would be the heck kind of.
That works better when.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions or concerns?
I was just wondering, is it possible to get an updated site drawing that shows the
These
accurate?
two,
That, and then also the exact location of where you're proposing the building with the actual, setback distance, the utilities showing. If you're working with an architect and you can get this file, maybe they can modify it for you without having to incur additional expenses, you know what I mean, with a survey and all that stuff.
I'll see what I can do on that. I know we should have drawings with these. It might be just this segment of the property. Cause you're still 1,000 feet away.
Same engineer. The two plans?
I'm trying to remember who did this. So this might have been McGrail who did this. Yeah, this is Warren McGrail. I don't even know, are they still in business?
Thanks.
These were done by Jim Missel, these two. And then we didn't really go to anybody for as far as like where the barn placement was going. But we can try to figure something out if that
And
helps.
if you are gonna update that, maybe since you're working with an architect, you can have the footprint dimensions correct at that point. Because there's a little bit of,
Also,
because I think it's either 52 by 38 or 52 by 40. There's been it's a little bit of a discrepancy and it's only 2 feet, but if you're gonna update it, might as well have it
Okay.
correct. And then if you were able to show where the entrances were on that site,
Yeah.
that'd be helpful.
You may get that plan for out of the county. Property lines.
all right, yeah, all right. We can do some digging on that and see what we can get.
Anything else? Okay. I know that Don created a resolution with some questions. I believe that we've resolved most of them. Let's see, thank you, sir. I think we're gonna go to comments from the public before we go any further on this. Does anybody have any objection to me opening comment on this issue? Okay. If anybody in the audience would like to speak, please do so now.
No.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Barring any comments, do we have, would anybody like to make a motion on voting on the resolution that the town attorney or the planning board attorney has prepared?
I think we're still looking for more information.
There, we are looking for, one of the things I was thinking was we could do this if we get this. This is the updated site plan with the property lines, with the utilities, with the move barns, and with any of the proposed structures that are actually already built. An updated one.
A barn blueprint.
Corey asked for that in his comment letter.
Okay. Do you have,
Okay.
one of, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think the board kind of has two paths that are on the table. First of all, this resolution has a lot of blanks we need to talk about filling in. And then the paths would be, you know, I think the chairman might say the paths would be exploring some sort of conditional approval. The other path would be to wait until we get some of this information more locked down and then move forward with an approval. If it,
That was my personal preference would be to do the conditional approval so that he doesn't have to come back, because notionally, I know what he's going to do, and unless there's anything that comes on the new site plan that says, oh, wait, we need to stop, I don't see any reason why we would have to have him come in, but that's just my personal opinion.
I agree. I mean, the conditional approval allows them to get financing because he already has the approval from the planning board.
I didn't think of that.
Condition, would we see the drawing after it's prepared if we condition it on that? What, you would have to come back anyway, though, if we're going to see the drawing again, correct?
I mean, it depends, if you want to review the drawing,
Can we not get it via
I mean,
email?
we typically would never do it without seeing what it is you're building.
yeah, I think typically, you know, you're in a bit of a, you're in a spot of, you want to move forward because it's a farm application, but at the same time, typically it's a little more fleshed out. You know, the location of the building, you know, the location of utilities, you know, the dimension of the building. You would often know what it looks like on the inside with the floor plan and some idea what it looks like on the outside. So, yeah, the condition, if you went with a conditional, there'd be kind of, you would know that any of that stuff with precision right now. Whereas if you waited, yeah, you would have to come back. But then you would be able to see with a little more precision. That's kind of what the board's gonna have to
Is
figure
there
out.
do you have a transformer on the property?
Yeah, there's actually one that came, when we brought the electric down the driveway.
And you're gonna pull off of that for,
And one of the things the resolution said is we're building a blank square foot barn. Do we know the number?
We do.
I would be more comfortable if we were able to see the drawing again. I just have to come back one more time. That's what we typically do.
you go on, show your entrance, your electric's coming in, water, gas, where the door is. Windows.
And water and gas are pretty straightforward. It's going straight down the road. Actually, probably off to the side. Doesn't make any sense to zigzag.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to have a drawing of this building on file here anyway. We typically would want to see that.
That's.
I agree, because if we start this going forward, then we're gonna
It
have
sets
to
a
do that
bad
with every other
precedent.
applicant.
I think, yeah, although we would love to, you know, speed things along for you and help you do that, but, I think in my opinion, it would be, you know, probably prudent to wait and actually view the drawing before we do any approval.
Is there a way that we can do what Mr. Drew mentioned, where we give a conditional, so that if he needs to get financing, we're not holding that up, and then we see the drawing, and that'll be the full approval?
You know, it's the only way we can confirm it, you know, that you're within the guidelines of the height restrictions. I mean, and all of a sudden you put a cupola on there and, you know, we don't want any surprises for your sake.
The board has the authority to do conditional approvals. a lot of times those conditions are, we have a little more of a precise idea of what's going to be approved and the location of where that's going to be. You know, sometimes it's not quite as precise. So, you know, again, you're kind of in this area of how much precision do you want, how much is kind of left open right now. I think you could go either way. In my opinion, I'm a conservative guy, so you know, I'd like to see things as close to where they're going to be as possible. And that doesn't mean you can't go the other way, but that's.
I throw in there, it's an agricultural enterprise. And I'm not sure how much he had to come back here to see us. The buildings I put up, I don't need a permit. I get them, but I don't need to up a structure.
So what do you recommend then?
I recommend approving it with conditions,
Okay.
get them moving. He's still gonna come in. You're still gonna see everything's gonna do.
So if you take a vote and it fails, it can make things complicated. You know, so I guess the chair wants to consider that. And, you know, if the applicant would rather avoid potential complication, it might be better just to do what needs to be done anyways, which is complete the application.
So you're saying complete the application, have a drawing rendering of the barn?
I guess it depends on what the board feels it needs to see. The majority of the board, because feels it needs to see. I mean, I guess, does the board feel it needs more information or not?
So I don't think that we need to see a rendering of the barn, but I think it would be important to see at least the correct footprint dimensions and your entrances and where it would be located on your site. It would be nice to see what it looked like, but you know, that's really neither here nor there. I
Yeah,
guess,
if you
in
would
this
specify
case,
the
but-
siding, the roofing, the pitch of the roof, so we get a feel for how tall the thing is gonna be and your wall heights.
It's gonna be under 35 feet and all that.
What have you contacted so far in the buildings? Have you talked to Morton or Essex or?
No, not yet. I'm working with, the materials are probably gonna be coming from Navin Schlappy down in Penn Yan. So one of the things we're struggling with
Great.
right now is, it's how to hold the second floor up. What kind of beam structure we need on that first floor. So that's why it might shrink down a little bit. 32 is a pretty big span. Go down to 28, might not have to be so heavy. Pitch is probably, it's either 4 or 5, 12. It's metal roof.
Wall height. Probably want
First
10
floor is a
feet.
9, first floor is a 9, second floor is 8, might be a scissor truss, so we'll get it a little extra height on that. So we'll definitely be under that 35. Right, even with a cupola on, under 35.
Yeah, so even if you had all of those notations, if you didn't want it, if we didn't have a drawing, but you noted wall heights, roof pitch, exact dimensions, materials, that would suffice for me.
Then the shiplap side, or I skipped the word that one, excuse me.
All those things are gonna change when he contacts, Morton has a certain pitch they use.
But
And
it's not gonna be a Morton building.
I'm just giving examples. A Morton has that. Essex has another one. Each of those manufacturers have different designs that they use, and each one's gonna be a different cost. And so he's not gonna be able to tell you at this point what the roof pitch is gonna be, and what's gonna be a 412 or 612 or.
That's sort
But
of.
if you're stick framing, you're just gonna get a framing carpenter to build it, right?
Yeah, but we're also trying to figure out where does the stairwell go to get to that second floor with access to utilities? And if we're doing a living quarters, we have to meet 1,500 square feet.
So to me, all of that stuff is permitting, which is later
Mhm,
when you're doing your. building.
exactly.
The
That's why
only,
I don't know why.
the only thing I would care about is stuff that relates to the site and your
Yeah.
building. So the correct footprint, the distance from your property line and the entrances.
In the orientation of.
And the orientation, proper orientation, and just updating the plan so that it doesn't say proposed structure when that's already existing. You know what I mean? Just giving a current site plan, to me, that's the only important thing that I think it would be good to have on record.
Do we want to show utilities on there?
Of course, yeah, utilities
And
also, but,
And Corey also mentioned in his letter parking, which is obviously a site issue as
yes,
well.
parking, yes.
Is there parking on the map there somewhere?
There is.
Yeah.
Yep, you should.
Yeah, I mean, all that exists today, so.
I mean, is it on the drawing?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
The number of spaces though would be good to know, what's there. Anything that relates to the site, I think is more what I'm interested in.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, all this is because we have a special use permit. If we didn't have that special use permit, all that goes away, or am I wrong on that?
No, I mean, we would need to know
I guess,
what you were building.
yeah, the planning board's not here to we have a special use permit application before us, so that's what we're handling.
But it just seems like there's a lot of. When we built our house, we didn't go through all this. That's why I'm just asking the question. It seems like there's a lot of detail here for a barn versus a house. I'm just asking a question. I'm trying to.
So a permanent farm stand is considered a special use in our code, so I think that's
Right.
why
That's
you
why
have
we
to
have
do it.
this.
Yeah.
Cause it has that retail element.
So,
And it's really, it's all the information you already know, and I think we're good with all the information you've told us. It's just a matter of getting an accurate record drawing of what you're, not a record drawing, that's not the correct term, an accurate drawing on record.
And just to show you the benefit of that, we have a great drawing from the last time you were here. It was nice to work off of that. So if we
they're
just.
not cheap. That's why I'm.
That's why I was thinking, if your architect, if you could get a digital copy of this, they might share it with you because you were a client. If you could get that, they could modify this and just show the information we need, because it's not like you need a survey or anything like that.
It's same cost. I guarantee it is. I hate to say it that way, but it's gonna be a couple $1,000.
I mean, we've never approved a barn without a drawing.
Drawing, yes, that's fine, but when you start getting into this, you go back to a civil engineer. It's gonna be expensive. I mean, I'll find out how much. Make something work, but that's why I was asking, why is this such detailed versus when I built a house, it was a very simple process. But as you alluded to, it's a special use permit, public
I
retail.
think it's because the retail aspect of it.
Don, what happens if we get downvoted, for you said it gets interesting. What?
Well, because the question becomes a question of whether that's a denial or whether it's a
Oh,
failure to act and.
understood.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that Earl and I are outnumbered here, but I'm fairly comfortable with giving conditional approval on an updated site plan that shows utilities, the barn placement, the proposed structures, with their updated lines that are now permanent structures, and the entrances, just so that he can progress forward with this plan that he's been doing for a decade now. I don't know if anybody else feels that way.
How does everyone else feel? Do people want more information or not?
I think I already spoke, so
Yeah.
y'all know how I feel.
Earl, you're about to say something.
I guess to help the applicant out, do you want this to be a formally updated plan by a professional, or do you want him to plot it? You know, scratch it on there in the correct location.
I would be fine with that, because if this is gonna cost a few $1,000s, and if it's close enough, like the map is fairly high level as it is, we know about where it's going to be. I can visualize it right now, and like you said, the utilities are coming straight from the road. I'd be okay with that.
tomorrow when someone comes to buy your whole operation, you're gonna want a full drawing.
Yeah, yeah, cause I do have to get the pins here, here. At some point. I was hoping it wasn't gonna be tomorrow. Always comes, doesn't it?
But each building needs a permit for it and the drawing when it comes time to market your property.
Drawing of the barn, I'll have, that's for sure. Let me see what I can get on this, so talk to the missile and see, so you probably. I think he actually might have most of this. And then they even plot in your utilities.
For you marking up these plans, there's laws that copyright for you using somebody else's design. So just look into that a little bit.
Okay, do we need to vote to table till?
You can move to table it or just take no action. Yeah,
Okay.
you can find it, move to table still. Do you think you'll be ready to talk? We have a meeting on what, July
First,
first?
Yeah.
So it's a couple.
They'll never get this done.
if not, we
2
wait
weeks.
every 2 weeks, so July 14th, I believe. The
14th. That'll probably be more realistic.
All right,
So you can move to table it until the board receives the additional information.
would anybody like to make a motion to table until we receive new information?
Don't move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, all right, thank you, sir. Appreciate your time and thank you for coming in. Here's a look.
So just for the benefit of the applicant, so the board, just to be specific, is asking for him to put the barn with the correct dimensions and orientation on the map, right? And give us an idea where those utilities are. Those are kind of the main issues
That's
on a map like.
If that's the case, can I have some flexibility on that correct dimensions while we're working that out? Cause I could probably get this part done before we hash out the whole dimensions. I mean, you have an idea of the size, but
I think as long as it's under the cap, I like. I
Maybe
agree.
put a range on there.
Not to exceed or.
Well, I think there is a cap in the code anyways.
yeah.
There's a range, yeah, there's
Yeah.
like 2,400 or something. I can't remember exactly.
He's already on here for 52 by 40, and I don't think he's gonna
yeah,
exceed
I'm not
that,
gonna
so,
probably even hit that.
yeah. That's an ambitious barn.
Yeah, you could put maybe a max if the board wants to see it that way. And then just make sure we don't miss anything.
Cause that's part that Corey really needs, right?
And then just show us where the parking is and how many parking spaces it allows, you know.
And the entrances, if you can have those on there.
I don't know if the remainder of the property matters chunking out those older subdivisions. I mean, ideally it would be accurate, so I don't know what the board feels about that.
I don't think it's necessary if you aren't able to get that.
Well,
Rather than show it on here, just take the other maps and attach it to it.
well, can whoever ends up doing it, they'll be there more than
Yeah.
likely, so. All right. Work on that. Anything else?
Those are the main things. Corey wrote a letter, but I think a lot of that stuff will probably be on the back end, right?
Anybody have anything else for Mr. Osowski? All right, thank you, sir.
Is there a copy of this I could grab?
Yes, I'll just see
Later on.
if I can. Do you want a hard copy of it?
Yeah, probably. Or if you got one electronic. then you can
I
find
think
it.
electronically that I can send over to you. Perhaps, I don't know if we have more copies of that, so you
Yeah.
can scanner, and I might be able to make one tomorrow.
I was gonna say, I can get it.
Take a picture of it. You can take a picture of it.
My old phone. I think it was really,
I can definitely scan that over to you if we don't have the PDF copy, but.
yeah, I'll agree with that. Right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, at this time, I'd like to open the floor for general public comment on matters that are under the board's jurisdiction. Would anybody like to speak at this time? Okay, hearing no one, we will close public comment. And before we move to adjourn, does anybody have any last business to discuss? Okay, would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn? Would anybody like to second it? Okay, all in favor? Aye, okay, thank you. Has a subdivision, right? We approved preliminary. This is a what? Does